Live from New York, it's the show that's preparing for the friendliest segment in all of sports. It's the second hour of First Things First. Today, it's King of the Hill. Now remember, it's not a power ranking, nor is it a calculation of PER or win shares. It's a rich tapestry of historical excellence, current performance, with a dash of reasonable expectations. Last week, Anthony Edwards made his debut at the Summit, and we debated whether a hill can have a summit. It can. Let's see if he can continue his reign as the king of the hill.
Well, he's been excellent, by the way, since we were last on, particularly in Game 4. So we'll see who's at the top. First, we must show you who slipped down into the valley, unfortunately. OG is injured. Miles' play slipped a bit. MPJ was not going to be able to keep up his red-hot shooting, nor was Derek White. Rudy Gobert has not played great since he's been back. And Jaden McDaniels, it was about what they were doing to Denver since Denver's, succeeded some. So those guys all slid off the hill. Sixth row, new to the hill. Chet and Dante smack dab in the middle of row 6.
I love it.
Shout out Chet. Dante had a 35-point game.
Points.
I understand, but he has played well the game before. He was close to being on the hill previously. Karl-Anthony Towns has to slide, given his last couple games, as is Pascal Siakam, and poor Josh Hart just needs a breather, and not only will Tibbs not give it to him, nor will the broadcast partners, but keep picking him for the end of quarter interviews, and I find that to be very rude. Fifth row.
It is.
Lou Dort. I don't love this nickname, but he does kind of have Luka in the torture chamber. He does. And Jamal Murray has ascended up a bit after sliding. After the heating pad nonsense. Donovan, not through his fault, but Donovan hurt. Donovan's out injured.
If he wasn't hurt, he'd be higher?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. But he missed it. He missed their most important game of the year, so he has to slide a bit. And then PJ Washington, new to the hill as well. He has been exceptional, playing the best basketball of his life. Little concerning for Dallas, because you can't expect him to keep this type of shooting up. Fourth row, Tyrese Halliburton back on the hill, and also on the hill, Aaron Gordon. His numbers are unbelievable. Kyrie and Luka both slide after last night. Kyrie, I know in Game 2 only had the 9 points, but I thought played well. Luka's percentage has been down. He's doing a lot, but they have to slide a bit from where they both were. Now to the third row. Unfortunately, Jalen Brunson, I don't know if it's the injury, if it's the fatigue, if it's all of the above, but he has cooled off somewhat ever since he hurt his foot and snapped his 40-game point streak. He has still played well. Game 4, obviously, no Nick really played well, but he slides a bit. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both move up. Jaylen Brown has been the Celtics' most consistent performer this postseason. The only real resistance he's faced is from his own teammates smacking him in the chest, much to his chagrin. And Tatum, since we last spoke, has had back-to-back 30-plus point games after not having one all postseason leading up to him. Is playing great. Now to the top 3. On the second row, SGA and Anthony Edwards. SGA moves up. He has been brilliant throughout this entire postseason. I think Brew was a little harsh on Jalen Williams overall earlier, saying SGA doesn't have someone else he can rely on. But Jalen Williams last night was not good at all, and SGA was the star. SGA has carried him. And Ant moves down, not because he didn't play well, but out of deference and respect to the person back atop the hill. Nikola Jokic, his crown was in question. His title defense was in question. And he responded in Game 3 with a very good game, and then in Game 4 with a brilliant game, which is exactly what we asked for guys who might be or are well considered the best player in the league, multi-time MVPs, season on the line, back against the wall, carry your team. Doesn't even mean you got to win the series. When Giannis was in round 2 on his title defense, nobody kills him for losing to Boston that year because he had that 46-point game in Game 6. He played great. He pushed as far as they could. So Joker, back to the top of the hill given his Game 3 and Game 4.
It's a good hill. I would switch Kyrie and Jamal Murray. Kyrie's really not playing that way. He's playing a good floor game. I need buckets from Kyrie. Okay. All right, so I would put Jamal ahead of him. But my main thing is SGA, I think Nick should be at the top of the mountain.
Wow.
He has clearly been the best player in his series. Now, Jokic probably has, but you could argue Ant Edwards, right? So SGA's clearly been the best player in this series, in a series that includes a player we all, for the most part, at least us, think is better than him, and that's Luka.
Okay.
Secondly, everyone else, and I didn't mean any disrespect to Jalen Williams. I'm just saying at this point in time, he's not yet a star. He may become one.
All right, that's
Chet certainly is going to become one, but right now there's no stars. Everybody else has a star. Jokic has Jamal Murray, who I think we consider a star.
Yeah, not a superstar star.
Kyrie and Luka. Luka obviously has Kyrie. Ant has Cat. I mean, Cat's a multi-time all-star. I know
Greatest
he's
shooting big man
inconsistent.
ever, yeah.
He's up and down, but he is a very good player. And Jason and
Has Jalen.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have each other. So he doesn't have that, and yet he is doing major damage. We know how young his teammates are. 22 years. I mean, this is darn near. You heard John Calipari talk about, 23 and 24-year-olds out here winning championships. Yeah. He essentially is taking a darn near a college-age team this deep into the playoffs. All right, and his rebounds, I talked about it earlier. 10 rebounds a game in this series. That's huge for Oklahoma City, which is not, they're the third worst rebounding team in the league. And here is Nick. I love the King of the Hill. You do a great job with it.
Wow.
But one of the weaknesses of the Hill is that you don't really value or take into consideration what is the hot new analytic statistic.
Oh, no.
All right? Ass stocks. And I'm telling you, Shai Gilgeous' ass stocks are through the roof. 11.1 in this series? 11.1 ass stocks per game. To show you how valuable that is. These are the guys, only 3 in the last 40 years, who have hit 7 assists a game, 1 steal, and 2.5 blocks in a playoff series.
Wow.
You don't see Jordan, you don't see LeBron, you don't see Jokic, none of them up there, but you see SGA. His ass stock numbers are great, and so are Jokic's, but he didn't hit these numbers. So, yeah, I got SGA should be in this.
I didn't know Weber. Was that Weber?
Chris Webber.
Wow.
Chris Webber.
Chris Webber was
He in the Hall of Famer. Draymond's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah.
There's
That's why I say that.
Can I?
No, I didn't know.
May I?
I know Chris Webber had those numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Webber was big in the ass stocks.
So Wild can
It's the hot new
compose
stats.
himself. I get it.
I'm just.
I would argue when you're showing that 7, 1, and 2.5, and then you're using as evidence, hey, here's all these legendary all-time great players who didn't do that. Maybe it actually means it's not quite as meaningful as you think.
No.
But
No.
I do.
Nuanced.
They're deep in the playoffs.
Listen.
Draymond's a champion. Weber had some great years.
It's
It's like the
wasn't
stuff
really
that
known for
doesn't
great
show up on
postseason.
a
It's the
traditional
little-
stat.
It's
sheet.
kind of
Assists, steals,
it's
and blocks.
really a
does.
mix of the little things, but kind of the big things too.
That's right.
Got it.
Assists are big.
Yeah.
Steals
and blocks.
and blocks.
It's like
Next thing you know.
It's ass stocks. That's what it is.
Wilds.
Can you talk?
It's hard to follow up. I'm just going to have just a mundane Jamal Murray, I think, should be higher. The way that you schedule a concert, you're supposed to put the real star at the end. I didn't know we were going to have that. Now I got to come on like, hey, everyone. Jamal Murray's playing great. I'll throw to this Jaden McDaniels sound. Well, I don't know if this was just a factual analysis of his production, Jamal Murray's production. He's had 19, 24, and they had 8 in the game that he looked really bad. He went 8 for 17, 11 for 21, and 3 for 18, but that game we can throw in the garbage. Tell me if you think this quote from Jaden McDaniels is trash talk or just like the way the Wolves are playing defense. Take a listen. So, is he talking about the half-court shot?
I think he's talking about that shot. That shot that we just showed was after 23 seconds of great defense. He made it. The half-court shot.
He makes shots like that.
No, he's a good, bad shot maker. There's no question. Here's why. I'm going to show you the non-Jokic Nuggets stats for the postseason. Because I don't think Jamal Murray's been their second-best player. I think Aaron Gordon has been. And I think in the first round, Michael Porter Jr. was. Because he is, he is clearly a far inferior defender to Gordon. He is not shooting with near the efficiency of Porter. And you said we can throw away the 3 for 18. I'm not comfortable throwing away the 3 for 18.
But that was just a disaster game.
Right, but it wasn't out of nowhere. 3 for 18 was a bit out of nowhere, but in my opinion, they have played, 9 games these playoffs. He's been excellent twice. Game 5 against the Lakers and Game 3.
But you can't throw out those game-winning
Well,
shots.
Game 5 against Lakers was one of the game-winning shots.
Right, but
so he's been excellent for 2 full games and gets credit, call it an excellent game because he hit the game winner. That's still only 3 out of 9. Yeah. And I think Aaron Gordon, to his credit, man, has been awesome. He's been guarding the other team's best guy.
Porter was great against the Lakers. But Jamal is so critical. I don't even know that you can just measure him by his shooting percentage. I mean, he needs to be better, but they cannot win it without him.
Oh, I totally agree with that. I just don't feel moving him up would have him be a top 10 guy in these playoffs. And I don't think he's been that. I just don't think he's been that.
Okay. Hey, Josh, can you look up how many assists, steals, and blocks Jamal Murray has had?
That's
I don't have the numbers yet.
No.
I don't have the numbers
There's
yet.
a stat for those three things.
8.2, Brew.
8.2?
8.2 what?
Astox.
There you go. Thank you.
That's what it's called, Wilds. Astox. Can you say it?
I don't know.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.